we're going to get right into it, and we're going to get through the bad stuff right away and be done with it. So it says, Ricky Martin rejects claims of sexual and romantic relationship with Nephew. Lawyer says hearing is set in Puerto Rico later this month. That court date is July 21st, so that's coming up. And I can't read that headline and not just be a little bit depressed at the vulgarity of it all.
Depressed at it being reported on?
That it's a thing at all. That it has to happen.
Yeah, sure. And like you said earlier something about like he's a celebrity. I wouldn't really be surprised. There's so many, messed up things that happen in celebrities' private lives and their families. But also, like, undeniably, this is something that happens outside of the public eye.
Yes,
so much.
Maybe it's just like it's one of those things where I get it. Like when I'm looking at the headline and I'm making a topic about stuff like this, I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. But it's also like if we don't point it out,
and also like when you have a Puerto Rican guest,
yes, Dane,
and this man is so iconic.
And I told Dane about this, and he's like, we have to talk about it because of Puerto Rico. So it says, it says exclusive. Ricky Martin never had any kind of sexual or romantic relationship with his nephew, a lawyer for the singer said on Friday, as his client faces allegations of domestic abuse from the younger family member in Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, the person who made this claim is struggling with deep mental challenges, Martin's lawyer, Marty Singer, told Deadline. And Marty Singer is like, if you just go to any like of the trade websites, like a Hollywood Reporter or a Deadline, any of these major websites, and you like key in Marty Singer's name, he is the lawyer of lawyers.
Who else has he defended?
He was part of the Cosby trial. I don't remember who he was. That was where I originally remembered.
That's notable. I mean, I'd love to know if you were defending Cosby because
no way he got the Cosby lawyer.
No. The Cosby lawyer's a woman. Remember that we just talked about that recently.
Because like it's a bad look in the first place to get that lawyer.
I'm only defending. I mean, but the thing is, it sounds ghoulish to us, but lawyers have specialties. A finance lawyer, like if he's like, my job is to get rich creeps off of doing rich creep stuff.
But if I were in a position of like being a public figure falsely accused of some like sexual wrongdoing, like predatory behavior of some kind, I wouldn't want my lawyer to have defended someone who in the court of public opinion is already condemned.
Yeah.
I'd look for like a trans person in a wheelchair to be my lawyer.
Okay.
You would look for paraplegic Miss Marvel as your lawyer.
Pretty much. I mean, if I was a Ricky Martin situation.
So he says, Ricky Martin has, of course, never been and never would be involved in any kind of sexual or romantic relationship with his nephew, the Hollywood heavyweight litigator added. The idea is not only untrue, it's disgusting. Thank you.
It is disgusting. Thank you. Sorry.
We all hope that this means that this man gets the help he so urgently needs, Singer said. But most of all, we look forward to this awful case being dismissed as soon as the judge gets to look at the facts. I can't help but read it in slimy lawyer voice.
Right.
Like, even if it's not true, and like I said, it is way too early. I don't know enough of the facts to be able to pass guilt, innocence. It's not my job. Yeah. It's the job of the courts. But I read it and I hear sleazy lawyer voice.
The slimy lawyer voice is suggesting to me that they're using the angle of this person is mentally ill, therefore they don't have credibility. And that's used against a lot of people with legitimate claims, unfortunately.
So it says in what happened is Martin had a temporary restraining order taken out against him. Mm-hmm. It says Martin has been confronted with a temporary restraining order in past weeks, and most recently with further claims of violence and more in the fallout of supposed 7-month intimate relationship with his 21-year-old nephew. A hearing has been set for July 21st. And this also brings into mind, a couple weeks ago, there was a case that came up about him being sued by his former manager, who said that basically he owed her a crap ton of money because
$3 million.
Yes, because she apparently made some big allegation go away in 2020. I wonder if
they called it a potentially career-ending allegation.
I wonder if that's what this is. If this is that,
the timing would tell us like maybe it is, or he's a repeat offender potentially.
And I made a joke, and it's not good to joke about stuff like this, but I said, so not only is he a creepy abuser, he's also cheap. Because he doesn't, he owes his he owes his manager $3 million for commissions and all this work she did, and he doesn't pay her. So it says, the latest claims from the unincorporated U.S. territory and the lawyer's response come as Martin, a Grammy winner and star of the assassination of Gianni Versace, which, he won I don't know if he won a Grammy for that, but he did star in the assassination of Gianni Versace.
Well, he couldn't have won a Grammy for that because Grammys are for music.
They have soundtracks, though, right? They might do Emmys for
there
might be music.
Get wrecked.
Get wrecked!
Faces an explosive $3 million lawsuit from his on-again, off-again manager, Rebecca Drucker, over unpaid commissions, dangling a sort of Damocles over Martin to likely expedite matters. Drucker and her venerable LLP team additionally allege that the plaintiff saved the supposedly substance-abusing living La Vida Loca singer from the potentially career-ending allegations in September of 2020. So, do you think maybe she leaked this to put pressure on him to settle? Or convinced the nephew to come forward?
I have several thoughts about this story. On the first hand, Puerto Ricans are crazy. So...
Only you're allowed to say that.
We are not allowed to say that.
But can you explain a little further why you think that?
Objective A. No, but really. So it's like we have him on one side, and like it really doesn't help that his like most famous song is called Living La Vida Loca. It really doesn't help.
No.
And on the other hand, I have heard families say worse for money.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Well, his brother actually defended him against allegations and claims that the nephew is troubled. But you have to ask, is the brother on his payroll? A lot of people at this level will have family members that work for them in some capacity. So is that something that he's just doing to save his meal ticket?
Was his brother's video on Facebook in Spanish?
I read it.
Was there any like...
So it says his brother is backing his siblings' claim that their nephew, who's accusing Ricky of domestic violence and incest, which, from what I understand, it's his stepsister's son. So they're not biologically related.
See.
Okay. So it says
that complicates things.
Yes. So it says Eric Martin took to social media this week to air out his grievances about the case playing out in Puerto Rico, starting out by saying that just because someone takes out a protective order under this statute, which is admittedly serious, does not necessarily mean that the alleged victim is telling the truth, and that the facts must be vetted thoroughly, which is a fairly reasonable position to take in this instance.
But it just seemed like, and he also said if the allegations against Ricky are true, which he's incredulous over, the response from society should not be retribution, but rehabilitation. So he's kind of just throwing out a lot of weird platitudes, and that second one, hate it.
Yep, hate it.
Because you need both, but at the very least, retribution. First priority. That's what justice is.
So it says there seems to be okay. So it says Eric says that he's on the side of justice and truth, but from his rant here, you can tell he's defending Ricky and casting doubt on their nephew, whom was ID'd as a 21-year-old Dennis Yadiel Sanchez. He also says if the allegations against Ricky are true, then gets into the part that you were talking about there. He says he made one more point in the video, namely that he too believes their nephew suffers from mental health problems, which he addressed directly to Dennis, which he says he loves. Eric also says Dennis is estranged from the family and that he knows the kind of hurt he's inflicted on other family members before all of this, but Eric doesn't elaborate. But it's also possible that, he's estranged because people were abusing him and he wasn't getting help.
Right. This sounds like it could be like a very seedy situation. Like this former manager, Drucker, maybe knows that Dennis is especially vulnerable to influence and then wants to screw over Ricky Martin through him. I don't even know how true the allegations are, but if you can convince someone to throw them out there, it doesn't really matter.
This is where it says Sanchez, who is reportedly the son of Martin's stepsister, is accusing Martin of exercising physical and psychological attacks against him. Martin and Sanchez were in a 7-month-long relationship, according to a website in Puerto Rico. Martin is expected to return to Puerto Rico July 21st for his trial. Now, I thought it was just a hearing, but apparently trial for this, and that's called, it's like Law 54, which was like the Domestic Abuse Prevention and Intervention Act. That's what he's being charged under here. And it's just insane. It's all just very insane, and I don't know what to say other than I totally buy it because it's Hollywood, but at the same time, I don't want to...
Well, I wish that it clarified when the 7-month relationship
what age
purportedly occurred, or like if he was underage at the time or not. Either way, obviously it's kind of sickening.
Is Ricky denying that it ever happened?
I've got his statement here. So it says, this is from him on Twitter. He says, the protection order entered against me is based on completely false allegations, so I will respond through the judicial process with the facts and dignity that characterize me. Because it's an ongoing legal matter, I cannot make detailed statements at this time. I am grateful for the countless messages of solidarity, and I receive them with all my heart. That's, of course, it's a boilerplate.
Yeah.
So he somebody else wrote that for him, I'm sure. But
it's like happy for you or sorry that happened. Yeah. Not reading that.
What was he supposed to say?
What confuses you don't say anything if you're smart.
Yeah, exactly.
What confuses me though is with this Rebecca Drucker character, if this woman saved your career, why didn't you pay her back? If you have the money, right?
So I said he's cheap.
Do you not have the money? And then you would face the consequence of people in the public thinking that, just from the sound of headlines, thinking that you're a predator, and that you're like abusing your family member, rather than just paying someone a few $1 million, which you already have.
And it's also
what personal beef is worth throwing away your reputation.
Yeah. If it's just he didn't have the money.
People do settlements like that all the time for far more money.
And his career has kind of been taking off again, only he's kind of delved into acting. Yeah. It was the American Crime Story anthology series that he did, the assassination of Gianni Versace. Now he is in an Apple TV show called Mrs. American Pie from Laura Dern and Abe Sylvia, which is in production right now. How does this affect that? Mm-hmm. I don't know anybody who has Apple TV Plus, but
they said Apple TV Plus has yet to respond to the situation. Like anyone who's like anxiously awaiting their statement.
I think he has to be loaded. Like the guy used to he made like the theme for the Olympics one year. I don't think you can do that without having some money.
What do you think of him veering into acting after his music career?
Man, I think genuinely he's a super talented singer, as you saw from my performance this afternoon.
Give us a tune.
Who, me? No,
I
couldn't.
According to a very reliable website, which I'm sure is not a very reliable website, it says his net worth is $130 million. Is that true? Though I've heard that those online estimates of net worth are always almost always low.
Yeah.
So if the low end is $130 million, and he wouldn't pay Ms. Drucker $3 million, come on, dude.
He was in Menudo.
It's your own fault.
He was in Menudo, that was like a super popular. It was like the original boy band, and then he had like a super great like solo career. He did like the theme for the Olympics, and then I think he did like the song for Hercules.
Okay.
Oh, the animated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's around that time.
That was a big one.
Yep. So he's been raking it for a while.
Like, looking at his net worth now, it casts doubt on whether Drucker was even involved in this allegation coming out.
You don't think so?
Because I think any normal person would think, I'll just pay this person and it'll quiet the situation.
If he insists on not paying, like, wouldn't that be like, no? Like,
would that be a matter of principle?
Yeah.
Maybe, right?
Theoretically.
I don't know.
But they're not really saying that she didn't do the work here. If this was about the nephew trying to get a payoff for something and him saying, I didn't abuse you, I'm not paying you after, you know what I'm saying?
Or would it be a matter of principle against Drucker trying to ruin his reputation with something false rather than Dennis being the focal point?
Yeah. So it says Drucker noted that she worked with him on 2 separate occasions due to his personal and professional life being in absolute turmoil, and allegedly helped the Puerto Rican singer navigate the world of recording contracts, touring, and sponsorship deals and other professional endeavors. Very much what a manager does. With Rebecca at his side, Martin made millions of dollars and therefore owes Rebecca substantial commissions. Makes perfect sense to me.
Before this, was his life really in personal disarray?
I can imagine that, once you hit a certain part, if you're not bringing in what you were bringing in before, but you're not adjusting your lifestyle accordingly. It says Drucker also claimed in the suit that the Living La Vida Loca crooner was threatened and intimidated with a potentially career-ending allegation in September of 2020. Rebecca also fiercely protected Martin, she alleged in the suit, noting that she advised him and brought in top litigation counsel to handle the matter. Due to her help and knowledge of the music industry, she noted that Martin reportedly emerged unscathed and proceeded with his professional resurgence. And it really is a resurgence now that he's kind of pushing into acting and not just music. And then they talk about him being in Mr. and Mrs. American Pie.
He was in ER, too.
I never saw that. The lawsuit also accuses Martin of having a toxic work environment and discussed a particularly ugly incident in Dubai that involved Martin and his representative, Jose Vega, back in 2018. I know a lot of it mentioned drugs. That's not uncommon when if you're using, your life can be thrown into chaos, and people who make normally make good decisions oftentimes do not. So I don't know what the instance they're talking about here is, but the other one seems far deeper and far more pathological and far more nefarious. Drug abuse doesn't really excuse such disgusting behavior.
Obviously, yeah. Well, Dane, were you saying that Ricky Martin, you suspect that he's gay?
He is
gay.
No, he's openly gay.
Is he openly gay?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
when did he come out?
Long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, by the Living La Vida Loca days, he was like in the closet. It was like, I'd say like almost like 10 years after that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. So it's just I don't know what to say other than we have to wait for I don't know what the facts to be borne out would be, like in court. Like how does either side prove?
I mean, I guess we'll see. We can follow up on it.
We'll definitely follow up after. That's coming up this week. That'll be on Thursday or Friday. That event. So I'm sure.
So right now he's in LA filming still.
Yeah. So he's going back there.
I can't imagine what it's like to work with celebrities who are embroiled in controversies like this.
You mean every single celebrity?
Well, do you think they just
not all of them?
Do you think they just kind of because it's like I said, it's a big club and you're not in it, or it's a big bubble and you're not in it? They kind of just assume that. Give them the benefit of the doubt because they're running in the same circles.
Yeah, like it's so common to have allegations in your past now.
Yeah,
that
granted, not as like this, but like if somebody comes out and says so and so hit me or so and so, like if I'm a celebrity, like what do you do? Like if you're already working with them on a show or a movie, you can't just be like I quit because something.
I think that's a situation that Jason Momoa found himself in
with Amber Heard.
Yeah, and like. I don't think it's unlikely that they lacked chemistry on set because of the lingering drama of, her divorce and then the following controversy about abuse.
I just like the idea of him just not caring, just doesn't know,
I'm sure like he has no personal investment in the story, but I think it would make me uncomfortable to work with someone with those type of allegations against them.
Well, there weren't really allegations against her at that time.
Well, just like the allegations or just general controversy around someone about something as serious as domestic violence. Yeah,
I mean, granted, because the allegations weren't against her at the time, they obviously,
and not to mention like doing press.
Yeah, that part is always
same
weird.
For like the other stars in Ezra Miller's The Flash. Like you were expected to do press for a movie starring someone that you possibly like actually hate.
I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know how they're going to. The press tour.
I'm excited to see.
The press tour is going to be funnier than the actual movie. It really is.
Yeah,
it's going to be great. Do you want to do super chats, or did you have anything more to say? Did you grow up listening to Ricky Martin?
I did.
You did?
My cousin was actually a dancer for him.
It's like being from Minnesota and you grew up listening to Prince because you're from Minnesota.
Bro, he has some bops, like legitimately.
Well,
and I grew up listening to J. Cole because I'm from North Carolina.
Yeah, perfect.
No, not really,
no?
but
no, love J.
Cole.
Could
be.
Okay, here's a question. So we talk about separating art from artist. Given this comes out, does this affect the way you look at his music?
Man, I really haven't thought of it.
Does it ruin the image of someone you looked up to?
I mean, I don't look up to him.
Granted, we don't know if it's true or not.
I don't know, like how his public perception is in Puerto Rico.
Well, originally he was like really, really wholesome.
Also, since you were there recently, like, did you talk about it with people?
I said it to like my cousin and my aunt, and they were like pretty distraught about it. So yeah, so I think like people are, as they would like reacted like as normal people react to a story like this. But And actually, I think that they're more inclined to believe the allegation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, despite the fact that my cousin used to dance for him, she said like he was a really cool guy.
Your cousin used to dance for Ricky Martin?
Yep, in concerts and everything.
She a big fan?
Oh, she was a huge fan.
How big?
She such a big fan that whatever like he does a concert, she like pays for VIP tickets to like take pictures with him and everything.
Wait, after she already danced for him?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like once you work with somebody, the bloom is off the rose.
I can't imagine what she's thinking right now.
It would, yeah. That's got to be awful.
She was very disturbed. Like she's a new mother, so.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
That's a double whammy. Super chats.
Let's get to them. Bad App said, "Live in La Vida incest." Oh no.
There's one above that.
Is there? I thought you read that one. Oh,
I
you guys need an intro song, says Batman23.
We could.
I mean, we technically do have an intro song on Spotify. It just doesn't play on here.
Yes. So if you want to listen to an intro song version, you can always check us out over on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora. All those great platforms have an intro song.
But we could like renew that, give it a little refresher.
We could do that.
Batman23 also says, "Sweet home, Puerto Rico."
Oh my gosh.
Yikes.
Big yikes, as the kids would say.
I like that one.
Blue Heart says, "Have a great day, everyone." Thank you for that.
Thank you, Blue Heart. Thank you very much.
We're
having a better day now.
We are. Jake Jones said, "Has Dane been sticking to his workout routine?"
I have.
I love that they're holding you accountable.
Did you?
For
when you were out of town?
No, not out of town. Not out of town.
Well, because you were planning to like eat copious amounts of food in Puerto Rico, and I hope you accomplished that.
I did.
Good.
Gained 4 pounds.
Just 4.
I mean, just for you.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.